In the village where my in-laws live, which is all Lisu, there aren't any young people left.
I don't even know where my son is right now, and I have no idea what to do or how to find him.
Forced recruitment by a pro-military Lisu militia in Kachin state has prompted an exodus of young people, meaning older people have to join up instead. Some families have told Doa Than they can't contact their recruited relatives or even get information about them. Hello and welcome to Doa Than, a weekly podcast about human rights stories from Myanmar. It's brought to you by Fondation Hirondelle. This episode is produced by a freelance journalist. Names and voices may have been changed to protect contributors.
My kid must be devastated. We left him with relatives because he wanted to stay and attend some courses. But now he can't even do that. Instead, he's been forced to take up arms, and he must be terrified. He's still underage, and it will be difficult for him to be in a situation where he might have to shoot someone.
Lar Si's only son has been forcibly recruited, not by the military regime, but by a Lisu people's militia allied to the regime. Lar Si is a gemstone dealer, and he lived with his family in a village close to Waingmaw town in Kachin state. 17-year-old Waingmaw dreamed of becoming a pilot. He attended the Kachin National School, but when it closed for the summer, he started computer and music courses in town. In the second week of April, Lar Si and his wife went to Pakant for business and left their son with his uncle. When they heard that he'd been conscripted, they rushed back, but it was too late.
We left him in Waingmaw so he could attend those courses. But then the People's Militia took him as if they were just collecting guest lists. We tried to find out what happened when we got back, but we couldn't get any answers.
Lar Si is one of the more recent draftees in a big conscription drive announced by the then leader of the Wuyang militia, Min, at the end of October 2023. He said in the statement that it was for the benefit of the entire Lisu nation. The group has been actively involved in fighting the Kachin Independence Army, or KIA, alongside regime forces. The military has long exploited tensions between ethnic groups, in this case the Lisu and the Kachin Jingpo, which is dominant in the state. But the militia is not supported by all Lisu, and some people accused Min of creating tensions. The October statement asked Lisu people to volunteer for the militia between November 9th and 22nd, starting in Waingmaw Township. For those who fail to comply, door-to-door recruitment to enlist one person per household would take place afterwards. The KIA has also traditionally recruited one person per household. 20-year-old Lar Wu Pa didn't believe that his joining the militia would benefit anyone, so he escaped to China before recruitment even started. His family are traditional farmers in a village 7 kilometers from Waingmaw. Lar Wu Pa is an only child, so he knew that his departure would put pressure on his family.
My parents are getting old, and that's why I'm working to support them. If they tried to replace me with my father, who would take care of my mom? I'm so worried, and I told them I'd come back, but my parents refused. They didn't want me to return and join them.
Lar Wu Pa is not alone. Many young people have fled the area. The risk to them doubled after the military regime announced in February that it would be enforcing the conscription law. Si is a Christian pastor, and he says there are villages in the area with no young people left.
Families with single men don't want them staying here, so they send their kids abroad. They don't live here anymore. In the village where my in-laws live, which is all Lisu, there aren't any young people left. It might not seem like a big deal, but it's really affecting the church. It's become tough for the community, for the families, and for the church.
But the departure of the young people also leaves older family members at greater risk of being drafted. In the October statement, the Wuyang militia said older people's contributions would also be valued, that they could be used in other ways, for example, to cook or keep watch. And there have even been reports that pastors have been used to help find recruits or have themselves been drafted into the militia. Pastor Lar Si is uncomfortable about this.
In my view, religion and politics shouldn't be mixed. There's even a law that says they should stay separate. If we start mixing them, all of our Lisu religious leaders could end up becoming political leaders instead. They need to focus on religion and not get involved in politics. Mixing the two is like taking advantage of religion.
Wuyang militia leader Wu Min was killed in fighting in March, but recruitment has continued, and in recent months fighting has intensified around Waingmaw. The KIA has captured army bases in the hilly areas around Waingmaw town, and by July they reportedly control the upper part of Wuyang village, which is close to the town. Many local people have been displaced by the fighting. Lar Wu Pa's parents went to stay with relatives in Myitkyina. His mother, Lar Si, had to send her younger brother to serve in the militia after her son left. And what upsets her most is that she hasn't been able to contact her brother for many months. She has no idea how he's doing.
We managed to talk to him 3 or 4 days after he was taken, and he said he was okay, but it's been a while since we've heard anything. The phone and internet connection here are terrible, especially since we had to relocate after fighting broke out in our area. Now, we can't reach him at all. As you know, living here, we don't know who or what to be afraid of.
Before this latest recruitment drive, people who served in a militia might serve in their village, or they could return to their home after a short period of service. At the very least, their relatives could get information from the militia about the welfare and whereabouts of those who are serving. But several people told Doathan this is no longer the case. Gemstone dealer Lar Si said he couldn't speak to anyone in authority about the forced recruitment of his son.
We spoke to some committee members from the militia, but they said they couldn't release him because he had a duty to serve, and if we wanted to see him, we'd have to go to their superiors. But we have no idea who to approach or how to even start reaching out to them.
Doathan tried many times to contact the Wuyang militia for comment, but could not get through. Lar Si currently has no idea where his son is, or if he's even alive.
I don't even know where my son is right now, and I have no idea what to do or how to find him.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Doathan. We'd welcome your feedback on social media, and please follow or subscribe to our pages. This project on human rights reporting is supported by Fondation Hirondelle with the help of our donors. You can listen to our podcast via the Doathan Facebook page. They can also be found on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify and Telegram. You can also listen every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. and Sunday morning from 6 to 7 a.m. on Voice of America Radio. Please tune in again next week.